All right, folks, what we thought we would do tonight is really just have an informal conversation, a bit of a fireside chat, if you will, looking back on the last 25 years. You blink and you miss it. 25 years goes by in a flash. But boy, oh boy, what a journey it's been. What stands out for you as you look into this room? I mean, there are developers here, there are financiers here, there are engineers here, there are competitors here, and I suspect this isn't a common gathering for the industry doing a celebration like this, getting everybody in the same room in the way that you guys have tonight. As you look across the faces that you see here tonight, what's going through your mind?
No, thanks, Bongani. And seeing everybody here from almost day one to where we currently are it really is amazing. It's touching. It's a testimony to everything that we've done, all the relationships that we've had over the year, and the fact that people can come out here and celebrate is absolutely amazing. It's gone like as I said, a blink of an eye. There's been lots of tough times, lots of good times, but to see everybody here celebrating is truly amazing, and it's so heartwarming.
Rowan, I mean, take me back to the beginning, the vision, the dream, the plan. 25 years ago, I mean, here we are tonight. We're emphasizing, of course, how many people are here, how many people have stayed, right, since we started. But take me back to those humble beginnings.
I think just looking around the room, I mean, I was saying to someone earlier, if you look at everybody around the room, they've all had somehow a role to play in the story. And I think there's always a danger that this becomes the Rowan and Clinton show, because I mean, I think importantly we've got a great team of guys that we work with that have really pulled together to drive the vision, drive the strategy. But I think the reflection back on the 25 years is an interesting one, because if you look at what the original plan was, and I've taken some time. I mean, I've got notebooks from sort of the early days and where we thought we were going. And where we thought we were going is, I don't think, anywhere close to where we are. We had different ideas. The market was very different. I think the one thing that we've been reasonably good at doing is anticipating where the market's going and being able to be fairly flexible and adapting to opportunities as they arose. I think that flexibility really has helped us. But the broad plan, yeah, I mean, I think if you asked us in June 2000, would we be sitting around in a room like this, talking about projects that we've done over the 25 years? Probably not. And I think we're very appreciative of the fact that we've been fortunate. We've spoken about the grit, the hard work. But yeah, everybody's had a very important role to play in that.
So if we move it away then from the Rowan and Clinton show, talk to me about how that vision really helped these two entities take shape and come together in the way that we've seen.
Well, I think if you talk about the importance of relationships, partnerships, I mean, you mentioned competitors. I think we've probably at some point in time partnered with every competitor that is in the room. So they've been our partners, and yeah, sometimes they've been our competitors. But I think we realized very early on that we could achieve a lot more by understanding the broader ecosystem and tapping into that ecosystem. I think that's what we've done relatively well. And I think if you look around the room, you see that ecosystem.
Clinton, what would you say is the secret to keeping these two businesses aligned, not only in vision, but in performance over these last 25 years?
I think the glue is the people. I mean, we've had so many people over many years, people that are with us, with the journey, sometimes leading the journey. They don't get all the accolades and the like, but there are so many people in our team that they will die for Enza, they'll die for Crowie, they'll die for the brand. And what I really appreciate is the honesty, the integrity, and we do what we say we're going to do. And I think what we formed over many, many years, and a lot of the guys have been there for a long, long time, is that there's that trust that, you know, hey, somebody will say we're doing that, and yeah, you might agree or not, but you go and you back it. And I think that's been the journey, and that's been the most important thing for me.
And Rowan, I'd imagine also institution building, right? That so many of the projects that we look at and we see on those screens have been about setting in place structures and systems to make sure that you've built a formidable institution.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the pictures. I mean, you quickly forget about them, and I mean, we've got some difficult memories about some of those pictures, but it's great to reflect on it. But yeah, I mean, it becomes about processes, people, but I think probably more important than that has been culture. If there's one thing I would say that stands out for me as being a defining sort of strength, has been the fact that I think we have over time built an Enza Crowie culture. Hard to sometimes describe it, but very often easy to see it happening. But I think we all understand it, and very often it's unwritten things that we sort of play off each other. I mean, Clinton and I have been working together now for 25 years. We've knocked heads many times. I mean, Ipaling was talking about the brotherhood. At times it's been, you know, it's been tough. But I think the fact that I know that he's got my back, I've got his back, and that there's a level of trust between us. We won't always agree, but we'll always agree to move forward on a path, whatever path that might be. And I think that's been important. So I think, you know, I really appreciate the fact that I've had Clinton on the journey. My sister Colleen, who doesn't get mentioned and should be mentioned, she's been with us from almost day one, and she's sort of the silent assassin in the background, gets stuff done, and helps to make it happen for us. Having said that, I do understand that in order for the business to grow, it's been important that we've corporatized our structures, that we've moved on from being what is a family business into a proper corporate structure. But I think what underpins it, that foundation, is those family values which remain.
You didn't tell me how many times Colin resigned. Then he phones my mother. My mother speaks to Colin, and Colin's back.
I mean, let's delve into that, not taking away anything at all from, you know, the corporate entity. What has it been like to be on this journey together, particularly as the two of you, as brothers, particularly in those moments, Clinton, when there have been, let's say, sharp disagreements?
Yeah, I guess, I mean, the thing is, there's been many disagreements, but there's also been alignment. You know, once, as I said, you say that's what we're doing. You might agree to disagree, and that's it. And you go, and one thing that we've always had is each other's backs, and I think the rest of the team, everybody has that. We back people, we back decisions, and yeah, sometimes we've made some wrong decisions along the way that you've backed, and you look at each other and say, yeah, that was your decision.
All right, we obviously will be looking forward to what comes next, but let me ask each of you to reflect on maybe not so much, you know, the scale of a grand achievement, but beyond the pictures. Is there a moment that stands out for you, for either of you, that moved you, perhaps, that made you really get a sense of your reason why? Rowan, I'll start with you.
I think the one thing that sticks out, maybe not the reason why, but the one thing that we've always understood, appreciated, and I think the importance of, has been the importance of failure. I think we started out, I was 29, Clinton was 27, we were young, and I think the one thing that we've always been prepared to do is try new things, innovate, find new solutions, look at different ways of doing things. And with that comes failure, and there's been lots of failures. And I think the importance of those failures and what we've learned from that, and the idea that you recognize the failures, learn from it, flag it, change direction, and put yourself on the right path, has been hugely important. In terms of the why, I think the why is an interesting one, and I think it's something that I personally have spent a lot of time thinking about. I think there's a lot of things. I think at the end of the day, the business has an important role to play in our lives. It's got an important role to play in another 800 or 900 families' lives. The sustainability of that, I think we can't downplay. But I think the importance of the work that we do in the communities that we're working in and how we implement these projects is just as important. I think we've always had a real focus on not just what we do, but how we do it. And if you look at some of the pictures, you'll realize we worked in a lot of underserved areas, where if you look at the type of infrastructure, whether it be schools or whatever, power infrastructure, is that we are leaving something behind which has an important role to play in those communities. While we're implementing, there's obviously opportunities for those communities, and we've embraced that. So I think that starts to talk a bit about the why and the broader community and the ecosystem that we talk about here.
Clinton, Rowan is giving us the bird's eye view, if you will, but let's get into the granularity of it. Is there a moment, is there a project perhaps that you can look back to and say, gosh, that was a moment to take in about your why?
Yeah, I think for me, and it was pretty late on, I think it was in 2017, because that's 17 years later, so lots of things have happened along the way. And we've had one of our colleagues who almost started with us way back when, Bradley Jaffa. He passed on, and I distinctly remember we winning that fresh produce market, and Bradley phones me and he says, that's our first R1 billion project. And I often think back and reflect, hey, are we really on the map? There's been lots of smokes and mirrors and stuff like that. We've done well. And to think that we had this project that we got in there, and Bradley picking up the phone, so excited. And that for me was really good. And just the continuation of that and how it excites everybody in the office. When we win a project, that bell rings and everybody screams and shouts, and to see the joy and the success, the achievement of everybody in the team, how we've got to win there. And we've got to go and build it afterwards. It's just another kettle of fish. But it really is exciting to see that everybody shares that sense of achievement.
Rowan, you spoke about how different the environment was 25 years ago. What would you say is the state right now of the property and infrastructure sector?
I think we had a very interesting stage, and I think part of today's reflection is it's great to look back, but it's more important to look forward, and we're very excited. I think where we placed our plans in terms of the role that we play in the infrastructure space. I think the reality is that everyone understands the importance of rebuilding, not just rebuilding the infrastructure in South Africa, but actually improving the infrastructure, because it's one thing to just fix up what we got, but I think there needs to be a leapfrogging forward in terms of what we rebuild and how we rebuild that. But the reality is that we understand, everyone knows that the state is under huge pressure to find solutions to fund these projects. And I think for us, finding the right sort of partners, whether it be funding partners, whether it be implementation partners, where we can start to put these solutions together, is really what it's about. Because I think we realized probably 15 years ago, it wasn't about providing services. People don't want services. People want solutions. So if you look at the problem statement and what the country faces, I think we've all got a very important role to play in that. If you look around the room, there's people that do everything from architecture, engineering, financing, and by us getting together, we start to develop these unique solutions, which I think ultimately is what the state needs. The state is not going to be able to do it on its own. It'll do some of it, but I think the bulk of it is going to be done by people around this room.
The importance of those partnerships cannot be overstated. Clinton, any exciting projects if we start thinking about what comes next?
I think for me, hope the triple Ps in the infrastructure space, we've bid on some interesting stuff. The border posts, there's some other office accommodation ones, and where we got the state and private sector coming together, and I think we're all hoping that these things are finally awarded. I think for me that's the exciting space where you really bring everybody together, all the engineers, the funders, everybody together, government, all making a collective decision to say that's where we're going, and put the stick in the sand and say that's it. For me, that's important.
You talk about financiers. One of the banks loves asking this question: what's your next? Rowan, for Crowie Holdings, what's your next?
I mean, I think it's exciting times, and yeah, I mean, we've talked to the banks, and they're saying they've got lots of capital, they want to deploy capital. We got to find projects, and I think the projects are there. So it's how do we bring it all together, the need for this infrastructure, and then putting together these teams to do the work. But we're very, very excited. We're very excited because I think it starts to play into some of our strengths, which talks about the innovation and talks about the flexibility and adaptability of the business, which I think is really what we're about, yeah.
And Clinton, same question for you, for Enza. What's your next?
I think continuing, keeping it simple, keeping it real, keeping the people around you, the teams around you, all focused, and it's always one step at a time, one step at a time. Rowan likes to think 10 years ahead, but there's a journey that goes, and us as a team, we got to get together, keep it simple, keep it consistent, and I think that's where we'll get there.
And finally, both of you, Clinton, I'll let you go first. What's your message to the room?
My message to the room first is everybody at Enza, thank you everybody for the journeys. I mean, we've got contractors, QSs, we got financing, we got Navisha, who's put together, her and her HR team that put this together. And I think let's put a big hand together for Navisha and the team. And that's our Enza team. Just keep it going. The rest of the room, I think what you've realized over 25 years is that we are real. We are honest, we've got integrity, we do what we say we're going to do. When there's crap, and we'll spell it out. We're not there's no smoke screens, no mirrors. And for me, just continue. We want to partner with everybody here today, and that's why our competitors, engineers, everybody is here. And that's where the industry is going to come from collaboration. So just a thank you to everyone for being here, and we really appreciate you guys getting out here. I'm sure we're going to party a little bit shortly.
In a moment or two. Rowan, your last word to the room this evening?
Yeah, I think what a great opportunity to be able to reflect. And again, not reflect on the Rowan and Clinton story, but reflect on the broader story. And as Clinton says, you know, whether it was Rod, Ippeling, Jono, I mean, the guys, I don't know what Clinton paid them to say what they said, but
I wrote the story.
It's lovely to hear, but it is great to reflect, because I don't think we spend enough time celebrating our successes, because, you know, as soon as we found something, we want to the next thing, and what's the next thing, and so yeah, I think a real opportunity to reflect. I think an opportunity to reconnect. I mean, there's people that we haven't seen for a while. Getting together with everyone has been great. A real opportunity, and then yeah, to start to look forward. As I said, I mean, yeah, maybe not 10 years ahead, but you know, where we all going. But I think, yeah, thanks everyone for making the time. People have flown in from all over the place, Cape Town, Durban. when we were putting this whole thing together, we had to decide were we going to have multiple functions. We said, no, we're going to have one in Joburg, and let's hope everybody pitches up. And people have come in from all over, and I think we really appreciate it. And I think it's also talks to, you know, how important those relationships have been over the years. The fact that we've cultivated not just on our side, but obviously on their side as well. So a big thank you to everybody for being here, making the time. Really, really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Once again, a round of applause.